And away we go. It is the nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com. I'm Chad Brendel. He's Aaron Smith. This show, as always, is brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Hit up their spot in Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up. Save 15% off. But Aaron,
Chad,
Galactic Fried Chicken is hiring. Full-time, part-time, runner, prep register, fry cook. They're looking for great people to join their team immediately, serve amazing fried chicken, provide friendly service in a fun and fast-paced atmosphere. Full-time, part-time available, 15 to 40 hours a week. Your availability and desire will give you every opportunity to earn and learn. Experience a plus, but not necessary. Must be punctual, willing to learn, and have a positive attitude. If interested, please reply, name, experience, availability, Shane at galacticfriedchicken.com if you're interested. Those guys have a blast at Galactic Fried Chicken. Like, I've gotten to know the people that work there very well, obviously because I eat there every day. I've had them Uber all week to Augusta, Georgia. It works great.
I didn't see that joke coming.
It's a little extra. Yeah. So if you're looking for a job, you're interested in the food industry, hit up Shane, Galactic Fried Chicken, and join the Galactic team. All right, we got a couple things to get to today. We're going to get to the Peach Jam. An interesting day for some notes and nuggets. But first, Cincinnati Business Courier or Business Journal, whoever it is, Business Journal, Biz Journal.
I think it was Business Journal. Yeah.
Released an article today talking about a locker room expansion for the basketball program. This is something I've been hearing rumblings on for a couple weeks. It is now apparently in the make it public phase, so we're okay to talk about it. $6 million renovation. This is, quite honestly, correcting a lot of the mistakes that were made during the arena renovation when they tried to fit a size 15 foot and a size 9 shoe. There's simply, if you've been back there, and here's what I'll say. It is nice in the locker room area for the men's and women's basketball team.
Okay.
But it's very small. Like there's not a lot of space. And if you've ever been in there and seen the lockers, they're right on top of each other. There's two that there's a corner where one opened. Like if you're a 6'9" basketball player,
wing,
you could not fit in this little tiny space. So there was a cosmetic makeup that needed to be done. This all could have been solved
upon the initial gutting of the arena.
This all could have been solved 8 years ago with the initial $2 million locker room that Mick wanted to build on the second floor of Fifth Third Arena, but that's neither here nor there. There's a lot of stories that I could get into there. But something needed to be done. My understanding is there's going to be an expansion. If you're familiar with that north corner of the arena where the locker room is, there's a pretty big open space. There's some glass doors coming up from like where the Armory is that you can enter into Fifth Third Arena. There's a concession stand there. There's the entrance to the club that was built right on the other side of the locker rooms. My understanding is that area specifically is going to be the focus of this locker room expansion. And they're going to take a lot of that lobby area that is there, enclose it, and turn it into space for the men's and women's basketball team. I think it might also include some of the offices and classrooms that are on the other side of that open area, but I haven't seen the full plans. I can't speak to the full design yet, but this is what should have been done instead of just using the bones that were there and trying to do a HGTV type renovation on the space that already existed, when it should have been very obvious when you were planning that out. this space is not big enough. Like, yes, they did a great job making it modern and making the best use of the space available. But sometimes it's not enough space. Like, it just is what it is. And this is going to rectify a lot of that and put like I was in, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, when I went out to LA, I was in UCLA's, not only in Pauley Pavilion and their locker room behind the scenes, but in their practice facility. And there's a lounge space like UCLA in their locker room in the practice facility. They even had like bunk beds, like built into the walls, where if guys wanted to just lay down and take a nap, lay down and take a nap. And they had every gaming console on a 70-inch TV. And they had the movie theater chairs. And then behind all that was like the lockers. And like, so there was a chill area, an area to hang out. And then there's the area for your lockers. Like, stuff like that is a necessity in a locker room these days. Like, it's what everybody has. So if you don't have it and somebody tours your stuff,
behind the times,
stuff that everybody else has, you're behind the times because you don't have. Guess what? 20-year-olds like playing video games, man. 20-year-olds like having a place to just sit down and hang out with their boys. And that really wasn't available in that space that currently sits underneath the bleachers where the benches are. Like, if you think about it, that's what that space is. Where the bleachers go up, underneath that is the locker room. And it just wasn't big enough. And it needed to be bigger. And kudos to John Cunningham and his staff for recognizing that and taking the initiative to start this renovation addition, if you will. You've read the article. If you have any questions for me, I'll answer what I can.
I didn't read the article, if I'm being honest. I knew because
you sent it to me and said we're going to talk about this.
Because I think you had that. It's behind a paywall. The Business Journal is behind a paywall.
Oh, I read it.
Oh, well, I'm used to those articles being behind a paywall. So
you sent me the article
because I knew
click on it.
I knew you'd know about it. But I mean, I feel like when you say that these you've heard grumblings for the last couple of weeks. I feel like it
grumblings,
not no G.
Yeah,
the G is silent. I guess like my biggest question is, I would imagine that this has been at the forefront of his mind since he got here. He just wasn't a thing that they could move on, as the athletics department was probably prepping for, I don't know, a large indoor practice facility and renovations to the football locker room. So things go in priority order. But now that you have a little extra cash coming in because you have been accepted and you know that the date of the Big 12 is set in, this I would imagine that this all goes into full motion.
You can bond it out a little bit. Like, you can, you raise what you can and then know that the rest of the money is coming. Like, this isn't anything crazy. It's not a 30, 40, $50 million like deal.
You're not gutting Fifth Third again.
Right.
You're redoing
sprucing it up.
Right.
You're taking an empty, open lobby and adding it to the current space is essentially what is happening from what I've been told.
It seems like a lot that should have been done. From everything you're saying, it seems like a lot that should have been done a long time ago. And it's good to know that they really aren't leaving any stone unturned with both Luke Fickell and his staff and Wes Miller and his staff.
Correct. So it's a good step in a good direction for the basketball program. I think it helps keep Wes happy and that he's getting some things done, because nothing frustrates a basketball coach more than seeing the football coach getting everything he wants, even with the understanding of Luke has earned and deserves everything that's happening. You still see the football program getting stuff, and you're like, hey, can I don't want the whole bag of chips. Can I have a couple? Like, maybe put them in a bowl, put some of that extra large bag of chips in this little bowl for me.
I got my own dip. I want some chips.
Some chips. So yeah, it's great news, and excited to hopefully here soon see what this is going to look like in drawings
real
and
time.
renderings.
Right.
Yeah,
Real time. So AAU, you are down at the Peach Jam. What's going on today?
Today was a little bit more like, this is why I come to these things. I was talking to a buddy of mine. I actually think that, and so team sites, I can't get in to this thing. They basically have set the number at like 24/7 gets 3 media credentials, and that goes for the entire company. So there's Eric Bossi and Travis Branham and Adam Finkelstein that are here. So there's no other site publishers unless you got a plug. There's a couple of us with a plug. I think there's 2 of us that are down here, me and one other. And was talking to the other site publisher that's down here. And it's like, it's been really good for kind of being able to focus on getting some info and getting some intel and not just, watching games, especially because the coaches get here tomorrow. The chaos starts tomorrow because they're not going to let us anywhere. Like, we've been able to sit kind of on the sidelines, have the nice chairs that are comfortable to sit in to watch games. That stops tomorrow when the coaches get here because they get the chairs. And now you've added, like 60 NBA guys that are also here fighting for the same chairs. The next 2 days for me are going to be a nightmare. But I did get a chance to rub some elbows today and talk to some old friends and gather some info. Here's maybe the most interesting thing I heard today. I watched Marcus Allen again, who is a high 4-star 2024 forward. He had 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists today. And it was a 3-point loss, right down to the wire. It was a really, really good game. He tried to take over at the end and just the other team made a couple more shots. Marcus Allen is going to Arizona Compass Prep next year, Aaron.
Yeah, we talked about that last night on the BBP. Along with Rayvon Griffith.
I had some more conversations today, and it sounds like Marcus Allen's roommate. There's a good chance he will be spending the next 9 months of his high school career rooming with Rayvon Griffith. I don't know. That seems like a good thing to me.
Sure.
You got a guy that's committed and wants to and loves the city of Cincinnati as well as the University of Cincinnati. And you pair him with maybe what is essentially one of your number 1 targets for the 2024 class. I think that's pretty exciting info.
The only thing that concerns me as I'm looking at the people who have offered and where he is from Miami, and Miami is not afraid to drop crazy
Major
money.
Max. Yeah.
Crazy money.
Yeah. I mean, but they're dropping crazy money for like top 10 kids.
32 is not terribly
not far, right? You ain't wrong.
Not terribly far outside top 10.
Look, you ain't wrong. I'm not saying you wrong. Florida State is also heavily involved, and Leonard Hamilton knows how to get shit done. That is the youngest looking 70-year-old man I've ever met in my life. I love, I've really enjoyed, I've gotten to know Leonard Hamilton some, just being around him in mutual conversations. I've never really had a one-on-one with him, but we've shared some stories and I've had a chance to get to know him. Awesome dude. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. He's a high priority guy from Florida that all 3 Florida schools are interested in.
Look, let's just hope that Miami doesn't try and get involved with Rayvon Griffith on the other side of that, because it can go both ways.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. But you tend to worry about things that you don't need to worry about because you
I'm a fan at heart.
Yeah. But yeah, that was I thought very positive on Marcus Allen. I watched Tyler McKinley again tonight. He played against Trey Green and Mocan. I don't want to talk about that. after the conversation we had last night. But he's a 16 and under. He's playing up an age grade at this tournament because all Ohio Red 16s are not here. They didn't make it. I thought he was searching early, and Mocan has two really good bigs. A name that UC fans are familiar with, Omaha Blue, who UC dabbled in his recruitment a little bit when West got the job. And then another one named John Bowl, who I'm pretty sure is somehow a descendant of Manute Bowl. It might be his son.
Bowl.
I don't know specifically. He's 7'13". But Mckinley struggled a little bit early, but then started to figure it out late. He ended up with 8 points, I think 4 or 5 rebounds. Had a couple nice moves along the baseline, catching a dunk on a nice cut baseline that he made, and the guard found him. He's starting to adjust to this level. Last week was really the first time he had played 17U in Kansas City. This week is the second time, and you're starting to see him get acclimated to dealing with that length and athleticism
progression
that you see, playing up an age group, especially for bigs, man. Guards and wings can do it. Bigs, you better be really, really good.
Well, one of the things you were talking about last night was just that he is 6'8" and he plays like he's 6'8". He's not playing as if he's 7 foot. He's not playing as if he's 7'1". He's playing as he's 6'8". So if you're 6'8", you got to not only adjust to the athleticism of the age group that's above you, but also adjusting to, I can't do the same things against these guys.
Right. So he's figuring it out a little bit. I thought it was a really good day for him. I didn't get the final numbers. Let me check real quick. I watched a bunch of Florida Rebels, but I bounced around to watch the end of a couple games at the same time. Jizzle James in a 57-52 win over Mean Streets. 8 points, 1 assist, 2 rebounds. So he's had a rough start to the week. He's running the show. He struggled last night, and like I said, when you play team takeover, even their 16 and under team, I watched their 16 and under team. The 2 kids that I was wanting to get a look at today, their 16 and under team dismantled the Skill Factory. So I didn't even get a really chance to check these 2 kids out. Yeah. So maybe we'll talk about them tomorrow. But a little bit of a slow start to the week, but I still like how he runs the team. I still like the way he plays the game. Just hasn't had a lot of success from the floor. But I've seen Jizzle enough to know he's a high major point guard. He's a legit top 75 player. Sometimes you don't have great games. Sometimes you might have 2 games back to back where you're good, but you're not outstanding. Let's see who else. Cohen Carr. I watched him for a little bit at the end of that window. He also 8 points. He had 6 rebounds and an assist, 2 blocks. I just, man, he just jumps. He jumps.
That's your guy.
I know. I love watching him play. I would have absolutely loved to see him be a tight end in football at 6'5" with that athleticism and that ability.
Listed at 6'7".
6'5", 6'6". He's not 6'7". But in that game also, Trey Autry, he struggled. The Brendel curse has been real the last 2 days. Trey Autry, 2 for 11, 6 points, 1 of 5 from 3, 2 assists. City Rocks won that game 79-76 over Georgia Stars. So that's the majority of the stuff from today. I'm hoping tomorrow some of these guys can start playing better. As you see, Trey Autry, kind of a newer name. He goes to Western Reserve. It's up in Cleveland. One of Wes Miller's best friend coaches the team. So yeah, that's kind of the Peach Jam wrap for the night. Oh. I did get a little clarification on some Isaiah Collier stuff.
Go on.
So there's this like the rumor mill gets crazy, right?
Sure.
And there's this like rumors that have been growing that like Isaiah Collier's mom wants him to be in LA because she lives in LA. That's not true. Isaiah Collier's mom lives in Atlanta with Isaiah Collier and his dad. I mentioned to someone like the rumor mill that like, you know, everybody thinks he's going to USC because mom lives a mile from USC. Well, their family, his mom's family is from LA. She's from LA. Their family home is a mile from USC. She just doesn't live in it.
Okay.
So maybe that clarifies a little bit. I know there's been talk like a decision is looming. And that is probably the case. Once he takes this official visit to Michigan, he's going to have seen everybody that's, you know, in the running, and he's going to have all the information he needs to make a decision. But from what I was told today, the family has not sat down and even really begun to have those conversations. So anybody right now that says they know where Collier's going or where this is leaning, I don't think that's accurate information. I think there is still another chapter or two that needs to play out, including the official visit to Michigan, and then including him coming home from that visit and everybody sitting down and discussing the pros and cons of what's next and what that decision may be.
Stay out of our pipeline, Juwan.
But you guys know, like, I am the first. If something is not looking good, I tell you guys. If I think Cincinnati's dead in the water, as soon as I hear it, I tell you guys, because that's just the way I feel things should be done. And I do not get that sense. Cincinnati is still very much in the mix here. Does that mean I think Cincinnati's going to get him? No, because I know now from the conversations I've had today, they haven't even begun that final phase of, all right, we're going to make a decision. Let's sit down, discuss the decision, and, you know, go from there. That hasn't happened. And it probably won't happen until the summer is over, which is Sunday, essentially. And then official visit to Michigan, and then sit down and decide what's next, which is where you're going to go.
Did Michigan offer Arlington Page?
They have not, to my knowledge, been a factor in Arlington Page.
But USC did.
Yeah. So here's the thing on that. I don't think Isaiah Collier is going to go where Arlington Page goes. If that makes sense.
Wants to go where Isaiah Collier goes.
Right. Like I want to make
it. No, I get it.
Isaiah Collier makes Arlington Page a significantly better player.
Makes sense.
Arlington Page makes Isaiah Collier a better player, but pretty much every big that Isaiah Collier plays with, they're going to get better by proxy.
Sure.
So I think it's very possible the two end up at the same school. I don't think Collier's decision is going to be impacted by Page's decision.
Okay.
Page's decision may be impacted by Collier's, and he would be a very smart human to include that in his decision-making process.
Just felt it was worth mentioning.
Absolutely worth mentioning and worth getting an answer out into the, the universe.
All right.
So the Cincinnati's still very much in the mix. There is, I think the finish line is in sight, but I don't think we're near it, if that makes sense. I mean, sometimes you can see things that you're not close to yet.
Even when they're running the 1600, it's all on the same track. So
right. So if I hear more, like I've got a couple extra, I talked to a couple extra people around the industry today that are, gonna dig around and have some conversations and get back to me over the week. But that's why you come to these things, man. That's why you're down here and you're grinding it out, because you never know. Like 2 conversations I had today, completely unexpected, but wielded a lot of information that I'll be able to use to gain more information. So That's why we do it. Trust me, I'd rather be sleeping in my bed tonight. My bed's a lot more comfortable than one here in the Augusta's finest apartment. All right, that wraps it up. He's Aaron Smith. I'm Chad Brendel. It's the Nightcap. Brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken. Now hiring. Shane at galacticfriedchicken.com. Go get yourself a job, and then you can see me
every day
while you're making my tendies. See you tomorrow. It's the Nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya.